Hi everyone, it's Princess. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my miscarriage, which has not been something easy for me, but please subscribe and we'll just get into it. So first off, I just want to thank those who have shared and posted their miscarriage stories. It's really encouraged me and made me feel less alone in this really hard season. A lot of my friends have not gone through a miscarriage and have had successful pregnancies and deliveries and all that, and so it's been feeling like really lonely. And so I went onto YouTube and searched a bunch of videos about other women sharing their miscarriage stories, and it really encouraged me. It made me feel less alone, which is why I've been really encouraged to share my story. Every woman's story is so different, and which is why I wanted to share my story in the event that maybe someone out there can also resonate with mine. I really hope my story helps someone else feel less alone, kind of like what I talked about. But I found out that I was pregnant on January 29th, and it was super exciting. I was over the moon. We had been trying since August of 2020, like intentionally. And so I found out on January 29th, 2021 that I was pregnant, over the moon, super excited. I was like crying, just super happy and very excited to tell my husband. And I told my husband that day when he got home from work, and we were both very emotional, very happy, and very excited. I did the whole thing, you know, got the onesie, got the little booties, had the pregnancy test. I even got cupcakes that said I am pregnant. I was super excited. I just wanted to, you know, go all out because this would be like our first child. Little did we know that joy would just be completely robbed of us and just completely taken away. I didn't have my first prenatal appointment until, it wasn't scheduled until March 3rd, which was like over a month away because of COVID. Because of COVID, you weren't able to go in until you were like 10 weeks, and there wasn't a whole lot of availability. So I'm like so impatient during this month, just, you know, waiting for my first appointment. And so went into my first appointment super excited. And she did the ultrasound, and she was really quiet, which made me really nervous because I didn't know what she was looking for. And she didn't say anything for like a good like 5 minutes. And she was like, "Are you sure your last period was on this day?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like the last time I ever bled." And she's like, "Okay, because it actually looks like you're 6 weeks." And at that time I thought I was like between 9 and 11 weeks. And so she's like, "Yeah, it looks like you're actually 6 weeks, and the baby actually kind of looks abnormal." She said it's supposed to look like a shrimp, and it didn't look like that. And so I was like, okay. And she's like, "There's not much that we can say right now," but she's like, "Schedule a time to come back in next week and we'll see where the baby's at." And at that time I was kind of like spotting, and she said that, you know, that's kind of normal during pregnancy, that you could be spotting. And so I was like, okay. And so that, like a week before my appointment, I was spotting, and then that was the appointment, and that's when she said it didn't look like it was supposed to look like. And then she said to come back a week later. And so I came back a week later, and prior to that second appointment, the bleeding was getting heavier and heavier. And I was like, I think like I'm miscarrying, you know, like the bleeding was getting heavier, and then I started to see like some blood clots, and And I just knew that it was happening because I started to also get cramps, and of course I was Google searching everything. And when I went into my appointment, I told the doctor, I was like, I think I'm having, you know, a miscarriage. And he did the ultrasound, and he's like, yeah, he said, he was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. It looks like some of the pregnancy has started to abort itself, and like the only thing left was like the sac, and that just also needed to come out to avoid any like infections and stuff like that. So he gave me like 4 pills to take, because he said since it was happening naturally that he would just give me the pills to take. I wouldn't need any like surgery, like I didn't need like a DNC or anything like that. So he gave me those 4 pills to take, and I just left that doctor's office just bawling my eyes out, crying like heavily in my car. And mind you, I was alone because of the pandemic. My husband couldn't come to the first appointment or this appointment, so I had him on FaceTime the first appointment, and then I had my best friend on FaceTime the second appointment because my husband was working and the whole time. Like, can you imagine just like being by yourself during this traumatic experience and going through it alone? And so anyway, I got home from that second appointment mortified, crying the entire way home. And when I got home, the cramps were excruciating. Like, I've never been, you know, like in a place to deliver a baby, but I felt like I was having contractions. Like everything was really just trying to come out. Like the cramps were like on 1,000. Period cramps times like 1,000, and the only comfortable place was like me like laying on the floor, and I was bleeding, like just bleeding everywhere. There was blood everywhere. There was blood everywhere at the doctor's office. There was blood everywhere when I got home. And so I decided to take a shower, and I was like, okay, I just really need to be like kind to myself in the shower, you know. But I'm not going to go into too much details, but it was really hard for me. And I actually miscarried completely on that day, the day of my second doctor's appointment, and I didn't even need to take the pills that the doctor gave me. I did end up taking them anyway, just in case everything wasn't out, because I just didn't want to get an infection. So I took the pills anyway. So after that, I took a shower and I fell asleep for like 4 hours, and my body was just so like just like raw feeling, you know. Like, I don't know, I just felt like empty and in pain and sad, everything, angry. And it was probably the most, like, one of the most traumatic experiences I've ever gone through. It was so scary and so mortifying, and it really sucked to be alone and all of that. But I realized that I actually really needed to be alone in that moment, because I never had gone through it before, and I didn't know like how to deal with it. Or like, you know, you hear about miscarriages, but I don't think like any woman really goes into it like expecting it to happen to them. So I wasn't prepared for it at all. I kind of got into a depression for like a good week or so. It was just like such a dark place for me. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't care about anyone. I just wanted to be alone in my feelings, just grieving my baby, you know. And it was a really dark place for me. I'm trying not to get emotional. But yeah, it was a really dark place for me. And my husband was super supportive, you know, was always there for me. But you know, I think he just felt like really hurt because he couldn't do anything, you know. It was completely out of his control. And you know, my husband likes to like fix things, and you know, it really hurt him that like he couldn't fix this. No one could. It was just something that had to happen, I guess. But he was super supportive, and you know, was really patient with me. And yeah, I was in a really dark place. I'm thankful that eventually I kind of got out of that and just had accepted what happened, and I had to like move on, you know, because I didn't want to sit in my feelings personally, because it was so painful. I didn't want to feel that anymore. I didn't want to feel in pain anymore. And so, you know, I got to a place of acceptance and decided that, okay, I just need to like learn to live with this grief. And again, because of the pandemic, I've been working from home for over a year now, and I'm so thankful for that in a way, just because I can't imagine having to be in the office and like going through what I had gone through when I got home from the doctor's office. Just the bleeding, the pain, and even having to like talk to people about it, you know. Of course, I had to tell my boss what happened because I had to take the rest of that day off from the doctor's appointment, the last doctor's appointment. So I'm thankful that she was super understanding, and thankful that I've been working from home because I could just, you know, be at home in like my most vulnerable state. So I was super thankful for that. And really thankful for family and friends that were really supportive and praying for me and bringing me flowers and food and all kinds of things to help me. That really meant a lot. You know, excuse me, I'm like getting choked up. But you really like see who like shows up for you in your like darkest hour, and so I'm just really thankful. Whew, I didn't realize it'd be this hard talking about this again, but I guess you just never really know where you're at in grief. I know sometimes it's hard for family and friends during this time because they don't really know how to support you, and it's totally understandable because, you know, I didn't even know what I needed. You know, I had, you know, friends asking, you know, like, what do you need? You know, we're here for you. And I super appreciated that. And I honestly didn't even know what I needed. I didn't, because I was still trying to learn how to navigate it, and I was taking it one day at a time. I'm still taking it one day at a time. I did find myself like crying every day and every other day, and just like the smallest things would trigger me and I would just start crying, and I was like, man, I am really just having to like live with this. This is super hard. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. So I miscarried at 6 weeks. And it's been several months after now. But again, I'm doing this because I really just want to encourage someone else that might be going through the same thing, because you guys who posted your videos really helped me. So I just hope that someone else might feel comforted or just feel like they're not alone in this too. So if you have any encouraging words or anything positive to say, feel free to comment below if you've gone through something like this too. I think that's really important moving forward for anyone that needs hope or just needs to feel like they're not alone. But I think I'm going to end this video right here. But yeah, thank you for listening. And feel free to reach out if you've gone through something similar and you have any questions. I had a friend that I had met up with, and she was really encouraging to me and helpful to just meet with her and talk about it. And talking about it is really healing. The more you talk about it, the more I feel like I'm closer to healing. And of course, there's no like end date or timeline to this. You know, there's no manual to this. It's at your own pace, and I'm learning to be really gentle with myself, not trying to rush into, you know, trying to just like move on. I know I struggle with that personally, so just really trying to take it one day at a time, and because that's all I can handle. To be honest with you, I can only handle one day at a time. I like don't even want to think about the future right now. But I love you guys, and thank you for letting me share, and I will see you in my next video.